What's up, guys? Welcome back to the back nine of my final practice round at USDGC. Obviously, USDGC or Monday qualifying is over with now. So what I'm going to do in this video is give y'all a recap of how USDGC qualifying went for me, and then I'll put up those last couple holes of the back nine. I think two of the holes I couldn't play because they were doing stuff around the green, getting things ready, because it was on Wednesday. And so they were getting everything ready for the pros to come and practice and all that kind of stuff. And so I think I played 7 of the back 9 or whatever. So I'm going to put that in after this. But what I'm going to do now is just give you guys a quick recap of qualifying and how it went for me. Now, just a preface. In the past, before COVID was a thing, so I think 2019 was the last year that you could do this, you could restart whenever and just repay. So you could pay like $25 or whatever, and you could replay. And so if you started off and had a bad couple of first holes, then you could just go and replay. So that's just, I 100% would have done that, seeing how my first couple of holes went. So hole 1, the downhill hole, you guys know it. Got a par on that. I was okay with it. I had a huge 45-foot putt, and I hit the band. So committed putt. I was really happy with it. Obviously, I wanted the birdie. It was actually probably closer to 50-55. And hit the band, super committed putt. I was talking to myself after it, and I was like, yo, great putt. Don't be disappointed by that. That was sick. You committed to it. Good job. Next hole. Feeling good after that first one, even though I got a par. Had a bomb of a drive up into the open. Now, you guys know, I said this 1,000 times in my practice rounds. I said, I'm playing this hole for par. No. Crazy Michael got in my head, and I was like, yo, I might have a chance to get a birdie here. You got to go for it, dude. Not a smart play. Literally not a smart play. So I went for it, and it's crazy. And here it has hole 2 is a par 3, but it's not. It's a par 4. So that's kind of wild. Man, they made like, there's no way that that's a par 3. Nobody's birdieing that from the tee. I don't know what they were doing with the scorecard. It was all jacked up. But I threw into the open, and then I threw my Sapphire on a hyzer, and I think a headwind or something came up. It popped up, went right over the fences on the right side, out of bounds, ended up taking a 5 on the hole, which I was like, okay, bogey's not too bad. That's going to be okay. Now, the downhill hole, which is a par 3, threw my bounty like I'd been talking about, didn't trust a hyzer with it, went right into the woods, didn't go out of bounds, so that was good. But I saw a gap up in the trees, and I was like, okay, I'm about 50 feet away. I'm going to throw my Justice out and let it go out and then turn and land by the basket. I threw it out, and it held an anhyzer all the way out of bounds. I walked out of the woods, and I was like, that was a Justice. And everyone was like, what? Yeah. So the Justice, I don't know what it was. Maybe I threw it too hard. It was my beat-in Justice. So, like, I feel like that might come out of the bag because in my head I think of it as a Justice because it is, but it does not freaking fly like a Justice. There's another point where I threw it later on in the round, and it didn't fly like a Justice either. So threw that out of bounds. 35-foot putt from hazard. So I didn't get to move inside of the line. It was hazard. Hit the band again, fell down to another committed putt, but took a double bogey there. So hole 1 par, hole 2 bogey, hole 3 double bogey, and then hole 4, this one was wild. So I had an okay drive. I hit one of the trees, the 3 trees, hit it, threw a sidearm out, and skipped up, and or hit the tree, threw a sidearm out, skipped it to a good spot, threw another sidearm. It landed at the opening, flipped up, and was rolling towards the basket. And everybody was like, yo, sick shot, let's go. Like, Eric Oakley was with us. Eric McCabe was with us. They were walking there like, yo, nice shot. It flipped up and rolled from probably 40 feet this side of the basket to 35, 40 feet other side of the basket, deep in the trees, and I wasn't able to putt it. So after that, I took a bogey on that hole as well, which was really frustrating because I honestly thought I was going to be parked. And that was just like insult to injury at that point. Like, I threw a great shot, and it just stood up and just rolled really far. You all have seen those freak things before where you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But it did that. So that was frustrating. Next, hole 5, the long par 5 by the water. Had a good sidearm with my felon. Had a sick, probably 380, 400 foot grace shot, dead straight. And then I threw the same grace over the water. I posted that on Instagram. Somebody filmed that for me. Threw that over the water. Had to look for a birdie. Didn't make it because it was probably 60, 70 feet. And then took the par on that one. Next hole had a really good bid. I passed the trees and I landed short, probably the 40, 45. Was out of the sand trap and like dead straight at it. Hit the cage, I think, this time. Dropped down, took a par there. And then it was windy on hole 7, the bamboo hole. It was windy on hole 7. So I was like, okay, not throwing my keystone, right? Because that's the understable one. Got my judge, threw it out flat, and it just pushed right really far out of bounds. So took a 4 on that. Pretty frustrating. I really wanted to birdie that one. You guys saw how many times I birdied it in practice. I feel like when the wind came up, I probably should have just thrown a sidearm because I could have gotten my felon through there. And I think that would have been a lot better. But obviously, it is what it is. Hole 8, threw my grace, hit a tree way down up high, dropped in the middle, threw my stag, flipped up, pushed, landed by the fence, and then sidearm up above the basket, 15-foot downhole putt for par. And then hole 9, it has 9 in here as a 4. This is so weird, man. What did they do? So hole 9, you guys know, the pillar hole. Just threw out to the right, laid up like a scaredy cat. I didn't want to go for it at that point because I was like, I still feel like I might be able to do something, at least push up there. I wanted to see how I could do. And ended up getting the 3 on there. So the par. It says it's a birdie on here. It was a par. Kyle Deck, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch Another Round's Instagram. Kyle Deck threw a thumber over all of that, skipped up, hit the bottom of the basket. Absolutely exhilarating shot. It was so much fun to watch. And then hole 10, man, this was frustrating. I went out of bounds and still got a par. So frustrating. I didn't commit to my Raider. I threw it out on a hyzer instead of flat, and it hyzered out and went out of bounds. And then I threw, I think I threw my Rive, and I threw it flat and then made a big putt to save par there. So I was happy with that. Next hole, took a par. It's the one with a lot of out of bounds before, with all the bushes on the right, hole 10. And then hole 11 or hole 12. Hole 12, I took a par as well. I had a bomb drive all the way down, sat on top of the hill, and then threw my felon up, and then threw my justice, sat in the rocks. Easy putt right there. And then the next hole, they have it as a 4 in here, which is wild. It's Nico's Albatross hole. It's not a 4, guys. I threw a great tee shot, threw a solid second shot, threw a solid third shot to be by the road with the sidearm. And then I grabbed my keystone because I was like, I'll throw it out there. And I just threw it like low. It was really weird. Came up 70 short. Pretty frustrating there. So took a bogey when I really didn't need to. Took a bogey on that one. Hole 14. This was definitely I wish I had this on film. This was the hole that made me really happy. Because it's a really, really cool hole. It's the one with the sidewalk going across, hay bales down, you rip it, it's like 430. What does it say it is in here? 436. Yeah, so 436. So I threw my grace, it went down. There was a kind of left to right headwind, so it pushed it, held it out a little bit right, like a little longer than I wanted, and stopped probably 55 short of the basket on the right side of the sidewalk. And I was like, dude, like, you have to go for this. This is an iconic hole. You have to go for this. And I just drilled it. It was such a sick, confident putt. Like, the guy on my card that was behind me, he was like, dude, that was on line the entire way. So that one made me really, really happy. I was like, yo, let's go. That was sick. And then the next hole, which is the triple Mando hole, made it through the Mando, but was on the left side. And so I had to reach out and try and throw like a roller. I had no angle for a sidearm flick. The bushes came out too much. Threw a roller, hit a tree. And so I was like, okay, I can still easily get a par on this. Threw my Justice, and like, no joke, it went Anheuser for 70 feet and then finished flat, probably, I don't know, 60 feet past the basket. And I turned around again and I was like, that was the same Justice. And they were like, what? That is not a Justice. Like, all these guys throw Trilogy, or at least EMAC and Eric Oakley did. And it was just like, dude, what are you talking about? That's not a Justice. And so I shouldn't have thrown it. I should have thrown my newer Justice that I knew would have been more overstable. Or even thrown a Felon just light. Like, that's what I used to always do. I didn't need to throw the Justice. So I had a sick putt through the woods, hit chains, missed it. It was a really long putt. It was a good putt. I was happy with my effort there. But took a bogey on that, which was frustrating. And then the next hole is the one that has the old mozzarella sticks on it, hole 16. And I had a really good drive, probably 35 away, hit the cage. So obviously sad there. I wanted to get another birdie. Hole 17, I was the only one on the card to make it inbounds, I believe. No, I was not. Me and one other card mate made it inbounds. Kyle had a tough hole there. I made it inbounds, though, like I said. Took a 3 there, went for the big putt, didn't get it. Another guy went in the water twice, and he just ended up leaving because he knew that he didn't have a chance. And so at that point, he was like, I'm done. Because obviously it's not PDGA rating or anything like that. And then the final hole, at this point, I was just like, all right, let's see what I can do. Like, I was like, I have no chance. I want to just try and make a 6 shot. So threw a sidearm off the tee, and landed in a good spot. And then I was like, I'm going to take my stag because it was a down slope. So you throw understable on a down slope, you're already on a hyzer, so it doesn't really turn over too much. And so I threw it, but it still needed to be on some hyzer. I didn't throw it on any hyzer really at all. And it caught edge and rolled out of bounds. And then I threw another little sidearm and then had to lay up my putt. And so I took a 6 on that. So I ended up being +9, which was like 40th, I think, somewhere around there. So 40th out of 100 for my first USDGC qualifying. I'm happy with that, especially after playing 3 rounds of serious disc golf the 3 days before and getting second in that tournament. Qualifying was like, I wanted it. But looking back, I really wanted that first place win. And that was kind of what took a lot of my mental energy, like trying to pursue that, you know. I absolutely loved it though. It was an absolute blast, playing in USDGC qualifying. Yeah, it was really, really fun. And I cannot wait to hopefully be able to get into it next year as well. But, yeah, here's yeah, I'll show it to you. Here's the rest of the, tournament, or here's the rest of my final practice round. Hope that you guys enjoy. I'll see y'all later. All right, so throwing my Raider like I always do from here. It's about 300 feet or so. I want to crash in the right side towards the basket and try and hit the bricks. So that's going to be my my goal right here. Oh, that's too low. Give me a skip. Yes, that's parked. All right, guys, that's what I'm talking about, man. I knew that I was closer than normal, so I didn't want to throw it as far as I usually do. But instead of doing the correct thing, which is throw it as high as I normally do, just power down, I threw it a lot lower, but we got a really good skip off of it, so. Nice birdie here. That's gonna put us back to even, starting off the back. All right, so I think I'm actually gonna change up my game plan on this hole a little bit. I've been throwing that bounty, but I think I'm just gonna throw my keystone out here
flat and let it pan a little bit to the right if I need. Yeah, like I don't think I need much more than that on this hole. So I've been just throwing a sidearm here, which is what I'm gonna do right now. But then I'm gonna throw my Grace and see how risky it is. Come out of that, please. Come out of that, please. All right, we're safe right there. I'm gonna throw my stag out there. Yeah, that was sick. And the reason that I knew it would do that is because of this angle, because of the angle of this hill, my body's already turned over to a hyzer. So, and then I throw the disc on a hyzer anyway, so that's why it didn't turn over. All right, throwing my Justice here. It's gonna land right next to the basket. Okay. Man, I tell you what, guys, I have got to start throwing this approach shot further. I come up short way too much, and this is a really scary putt. Really scary putt. Guys, I just want to show y'all where I was aiming. So I just hit right here, just so you know. I was aiming right here at this chain link. So if you're putting on a downhill basket, aim really low on the basket, really low on it. All right, so this hole. Fun one. Gotta really commit to my form here, follow through, and just get my Grace out there as far as I can. Stand up, flip just a little bit. I gave it too much hyzer, man. Gave that way too much hyzer. All right, so now it's the opposite as the last hole, where I threw something understable on a right to left hill. Now it's a left to right hill, so I'm gonna throw my rive flat, knowing that I'll probably turn it over a little bit, and then we'll be able to have it come back. Push up. I hit one of the flags, so at least we know we're in. All right, so there is a guy weed eating up there, so I'm gonna try and avoid him as best I can. He's about 50 feet to the right of the hole. Give me a good skip. Yes! I should be parked. Come on. Well. I don't even know if this basket's gonna be here. I don't want to count that as a bogey with all this distraction, but I'm going to. I thought he was gonna stop, but he's got work to do, so I understand. All right, so there was just a little bit of a car accident right behind me, but it looks like everyone's okay. Just a little fender bender. So I've been watching that for the last little bit, making sure that everybody's fine. Looks like people are pulling up to help and everything. I've got these women over here on the right, so I'm gonna wait to throw. That last hole, y'all, I rushed the putt because that guy was weed eating, and I was just like, I'll just make this and get out of his way. I shouldn't have done that. I should have taken my time, even if there wasn't a distraction. So that sucks that we took a bogey there, because we played that hole perfectly. So we're back to +1 now, which again sucks, but we'll see if we can find a birdie somewhere else. All right, gonna throw my Sapphire here, throw it flat, let it have a good full flight. Yeah, it's starting to turn over for me real nice again. Perfect, that's all I really need. I don't need much distance. So playing this hole for the par, Gonna take my bounty, throw it out over the sidewalk on a hyzer, and let it push back inbounds. Yep. All that I need on this one. All right, and then from here, we just take our Justice, and there's no more out of bounds. I'm just pushing it down the sidewalk, having it land on the right side. That should give us a nice, easy shot straight into the green. All right, so we've got about 280 to the pin here. I'm gonna throw my bounty. I've got a right to left wind, so this should still be fine. I'm gonna throw my bounty kind of flat just so I don't show the face to it, and try and push it out to that 280 mark. Go in the basket, sit down. Okay, so it's pretty skippy up there, but that at least gives us a look. All right, so this would be a really important putt. Obviously, having to save par here. These used to never be scary to me, but now, like, as I've been struggling with my putting lately, these are a lot scarier than they used to be. I don't understand, dude. All right, so this hole, about 420. I'm gonna throw my Sapphire here and see if we can get a nice full flat out of it. I've parked it with this before, so that's gonna be the goal again here. A little bit of a tailwind to stable it up. Okay, tailwind did not want to stable it up. In fact, the tailwind wanted to make it understable, but that will be an easy par. Let's throw my Grace here. Okay, it's a tailwind. What in the world? All right, so goal here is obviously just to get close enough to give me a tap in. And that's right underneath. All right, so easy par here. Still gonna be +2, so I've birdied the next 3 holes in a row, so. All right, so I actually just saw Tristan Tanner and Ezra Adderhold warming up over here. Their RVs are parked over there. So I don't know why I mentioned that, but it was just cool seeing them out there practicing. I'm gonna throw my Grace here. It looks like they have a whole bunch of mulch. I don't know if they're gonna spread it out or not, but if I hit that, that's not gonna be good. I'm gonna throw my Grace, try and get it up a little bit higher, hopefully push through that gap just a little bit more. Get through it. Well, I'm safe. All right, so I think I'm actually gonna throw my bounty here on a hyzer, try and get it to glide up, give us a shot to save par here. Give me a skip. All right, I think that gave me a big skip, so should be able to save par from there. Okay, so I really want this disc to skip into the woods and not die. So I'm gonna throw my Felon here and try and get a good skip out of it. Yeah, that should be an easy par there. All right, par for us. That's what I'm talking about. But gosh, I got like the last 2 are the only, I can't birdie 18. The last 2 are the only ones I can birdie to get back to even. All right, so they moved the OB in here a lot. I'm still gonna take the adder and try and throw it out wide, but I don't even know. It's so tight down there now. See if that's in. Yeah, that's safe. All right, so we definitely made it in with more than enough room. around us, which is definitely going to be the play. Like it seems like they've brought that in way tighter than they ever have before. I do still have a little bit of a putt here. Obviously it's extremely scary to run this, but with my putt, I don't think running it is a bad idea because I don't like power it up or anything. So we'll see if we can snag this here. Wow, really good line. I'm okay with that. Ooh, that was the right height. Throwing my adder here, just gonna throw it straight at that tree and let it cut down to the right. Looks like they actually might be working on the basket, which is why we didn't play hole 15 either, because they were working on the basket. So we weren't able to get a full round in, but we've played enough out here. Right in the middle, that's perfect. So there's a van up there blocking the green. So I'm just gonna throw this foul in, get to my landing zone, and take a par here like I always do. Oh no. Actually, that should be safe. So you guys can see they're working up there on the basket. So from here, I would just throw a putter, and I've been getting pretty close the last couple times, been able to get a couple birdies. So that's what we'll leave it at. Two up. So I've definitely got to make some improvements on some holes and really dial my putting in over the next couple of days.